Hello, it's April Garwood from Banana Moon Studio. In this video, I will be showing you how to crochet a puff stitch blanket square. So we'll go ahead and turn this video around and get started. To make this puff stitch crochet blanket square, you're going to need worsted weight yarn and a size J crochet hook. I'll be using Cascade Yarns Pacific in this bright pumpkin-y orange color. We'll begin our square with a magic circle. So you're going to leave your tail at least 6 inches long, lay the yarn over 2 fingers, wrap it around once, pull that off your fingers, place your hook through that ring. I like to tighten mine just a little. And then we're going to begin with a chain 2. So we'll pull the yarn through and chain 1 and 2, and then we're ready to begin round 1. So round 1, we've already done our chain 2 here. That doesn't count as a stitch. We'll be working into that magic circle. We'll do 3 double crochet stitches and a chain 2, and we'll do that 3 times. So we'll yarn over. We're going to be working over 2 strands of yarn, the tail and the circle. So there's 3 double crochets, and I'll chain 2. That's going to count as a corner chain space. I'll do another group of 3 double crochet stitches. And then a chain 2. And another set of 3 double crochet stitches. And a chain 2. Okay, and at that point now I've finished what's in the parentheses here, and I'll do another 3 more double crochet stitches in the circle, and then half double crochet in the first stitch to join. All right, I've done all the double crochet stitches, so now I'm going to go ahead and pull my center closed. And then I'll yarn over and go into the first stitch to join. So to find our first stitch, if you're not clear on where it is, here's our first group of 3 double crochet stitches. The top of this leftmost one is here, and then here's the next one, and this that's kind of leaning down a little bit to the side, that's our first stitch. This and this is the chain 2 that we had at the very beginning of the round. So I will half double crochet in here to make my join. Okay, and that finishes round 1. For round 2, we'll begin with a chain 1 and single crochet in the corner chain space. And then we'll single crochet in each stitch across to the next corner chain space. Then in the corner we will single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet in that space, and we'll repeat that around. So I'll place a single crochet in each of these double crochet stitches, and then my first corner chain space will single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet. So we're going to repeat that around for every side. I'll come back to the video and show you what to do when we get to the end of this round. So round 2, I have worked my last repeat to the double star, so I'm here now. single crochet in the corner chain space and then half double crochet to join. So I go back to this chain space and I'll single crochet here and then join with a half double crochet in the first stitch. And that finishes round 2. So now for round 3, I'll begin with a chain 2 and 2 double crochet in the corner chain space. Chain 2, and 2 double crochet stitches here in the corner, and then chain 1, puff stitch in the next stitch, chain 1, skip the next stitch, and we're going to do that 2 times. So here is my chain 1, and then I will puff stitch in the next stitch. So my very next stitch is going to be this one right here, and the way that puff stitch works is you're going to yarn over first, then go into the stitch. Then you will pull up a loop and you're going to make it about as tall as your double crochet stitches that are over here that you've already worked. Then yarn over, go in again, pull up another loop to the height of your double crochet stitches, and again yarn over, back in the stitch, pull up a loop to that same height, and then yarn over and pull through all of the loops on your hook. So that's one puff stitch. Then we chain 1 and skip the next stitch. So chain 1, my next stitch is here, I'm going to skip that. So I will puff stitch in the next one, which is here. Again, pull that up to double crochet height, and again pull up a loop, and one more time pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all loops. And then we do a chain 1, and again we'll skip the next stitch, which is this one, and that completes our 2 times doing what's in parentheses. So we'll puff stitch in the next stitch and chain 1. So we're skipping the one here under my thumb, we're going to puff stitch in this one. And chain 1, and that brings us to here. So now in the corner, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in the corner chain space. So our corner chain space is here, 2 double crochet stitches, chain 2, 2 double crochet stitches, and that completes our first side and our first corner. We're going to repeat that around. I'll come back to the video when I'm at the end of the round and show you what to do next. I'm at the end of row 3 now. I have just done my last puff stitch and chain 1, and I'm at the double star, so that brings us to here. So now 2 double crochet in the corner chain space and half double crochet in the first stitch to join. So here's what I have. So my corner chain space is right here. I'll put 2 double crochet stitches there, and then join with a half double crochet stitch right here. That finishes round 3. With round 3, you'll have 28 stitches total, but 3 puff stitches on each side of your square. To begin round 4, we start with a chain 1 and single crochet in the corner chain space. And then we will single crochet in the next 2 double crochet. So that's going to be this one and this one, and single crochet in the next chain space. So that is this space between the double crochet and the puff stitch. Single crochet there, skip the next stitch, single crochet in the next chain space. So we're not going to single crochet in this puff stitch, we're just going to go in this next space between the puff stitches and single crochet there. Okay, now we're going to single crochet in the next puff stitch and also in the next chain space. So we'll go ahead and place, so technically the top of the puff stitch is actually this right here. It's actually to the right of the puff itself. I feel like I'm going to go ahead and place it in this, which is actually the chain I closed it with, just because it's more centered over the puff stitch. You can do it either way, whatever feels better to you. Okay, and then in this chain space, another one. And then skip the next stitch and single crochet in the next chain space. So we'll skip this puff stitch, single crochet in this space between stitches, and then single crochet in the next 2 doubles. So that is going to be here and here. And then single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the corner chain space, and we'll repeat that around. So a single here and 2 chains and another single, and I will repeat that around and come back to the video at the end of this round to show you what's next. I'm at the end of round 4. I just finished here at the double star by putting single crochet in these 2 double crochet stitches. So now that brings us down to here. So we'll single crochet in the corner chain space and do our half double crochet join. So I'll place a single crochet here in this corner space and half double crochet here to join. And then I'm ready to begin round 5. Chain 2, 2 double crochet in the corner space. That's right here. There are my 2 doubles, chain 1, puff stitch in the next stitch, chain 1, skip the next stitch, and repeat that 5 times. All right, so chain 1, and we're going to go to the very next stitch, which is right here, and place a puff stitch. Pull that loop up. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, which is here under my left thumb. We'll go into this one. So remember, we yarn over before we go in the stitch. You can see that yarn over here. We'll pull up a loop to the height of a double crochet, and we'll do that twice more. And pull through all loops. Chain 1. We're going to skip this stitch and go into the next one for another puff stitch. We're going to repeat that puff stitch, chain 1, skip a stitch until we have 5 puff stitches. Have 5 puff stitches now, so let's see. So I've come to the end of my parentheses. Yes, I did my, don't forget the chain 1 there, and then skipping that stitch, and then you're going to puff stitch in the next one. So again, I'm going to skip the one here under my left thumb and put a puff stitch in this one. And chain 1, and then we're going to do our corner. So right here, 2 double crochet stitches, two chains, and 2 double crochet stitches. So we'll repeat that for each side of the square, and I'll come back and show you what to do next at the end of this round. At the end of round 5 now, I've just completed this puff stitch and chain 1, and that brings me to the double star. So I'll come down here now, 2 double crochet in the corner chain space, and then close with a half double crochet. Now I'm ready for round 6. Round 6 begins with chain 1 and single crochet in the corner space. And then we'll single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So that's going to be here and here. And now we're going to do this part in parentheses, single crochet in the next chain space, skip the next stitch. We're going to do that 2 times. So the first chain space is going to be here in between the puff and the double crochet. Single crochet, we're going to skip the puff stitch, single crochet in the chain space, and skip the puff stitch, and that completes our parentheses. So then we'll single crochet in the next chain space, so that brings us to here, and then we're here. We are going to single crochet in the next puff stitch and single crochet in the next chain space 2 times. So we're going to go here for a single crochet, then in the next chain space, then in the next puff stitch, and then in the next chain space. So now we've completed this set of parentheses 2 times. So now we'll skip the next puff stitch and single crochet in the next chain space 2 times. Skip the stitch in the chain space. So I'll skip this one and single crochet here. And I'll skip this stitch and single crochet here. And that completes this set of parentheses 2 times. Now I'll single crochet in the next 2 stitches. That's going to be here and here. And then I work my corner, which is a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the corner space. Single, chain 2, single crochet. We'll repeat that around and come back to the video at the end of the round. I'm at the end of round 6 now. I have just completed single crochet stitches in these 2 double crochets. So that brings me to this double star. So now we can skip to here. Single crochet in the corner chain space and work our join. So there's my single crochet and joining. And we're ready for round 7. That's going to begin with chain 2 and 2 double crochets in the corner. Chain 2, 2 double crochets in this corner chain space. And then we'll chain 1, puff stitch in the next stitch, chain 1, and skip the next stitch, and we'll do that 7 times. So chain 1, we'll puff stitch right here in this first single. So pull up my loops, 3 of them. Chain, and then I'll skip the stitch under my left thumb and puff stitch in the next one. And I'll continue that across until I have 7 puff stitches. I have 7 puff stitches now, so where am I? Down here. Okay, so puff stitches, chain 1, skip the next stitch. I've done the chain 1. I'll make sure I skip the next stitch. I've done that 7 times. Now I'll puff stitch in the next one and chain 1. So skip this one, puff stitch here. And chain 1. And now I'll do my corner with 2 doubles, chain 2 and 2 doubles. There's my corner space. All right, there's what we have so far. I'll repeat that around and we'll come back to the video at the end of the round. I'm at the end of round 7 now. I just did this puff stitch and chain 1. So now we're on to our next page. Here, and we'll do 2 double crochets in the corner chain space and then our join. So our corner chain space is here. 2 double crochets and join back to the first one with a half double crochet stitch. Now we're on round 8. Chain 1, single crochet in the corner space. And then we'll single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So that's going to be these 2 double crochets. And then we will single crochet in the chain space, skip the next stitch 2 times. So in this chain space, skip the puff stitch and go in between puff stitches. And then we're going to skip this next puff stitch. We'll remember that because now we've done this set of parentheses 2 times. Now we'll single crochet in the next chain space. So we're skipping this puff stitch and doing a single crochet here. And then single crochet in the next puff stitch, single crochet in the next chain space 4 times. So I'll go in the top of this puff stitch. We're gonna do every stitch in every chain space until we've worked 8 stitches because 2 times this 4 is 8. So there's 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oops, and 8. All right, so now I've done this set of parentheses 4 times. Now I will skip the next puff stitch and single crochet in the chain space 2 times. So skipping this puff stitch into this chain space, skip the next puff stitch and go into this space between stitches. And that brings me to the end of these parentheses. I'll single crochet in the next 2 stitches and then I'll work my corner. So single crochet in these 2 double crochet stitches. And again for my corner, I will single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet. I'll repeat that around for each side and we will come back to the video for the end of this round. I'm at the end of round 8 now. So that brings us, let's see, I finished to the double star. So that brings us down here. So we'll single crochet in the corner and then do our join. So here's my single and my join in the first stitch. And I am ready for round 9, which begins with chain 2 and 2 double crochets in the corner. All right, and we'll chain 1, and then we'll do puff stitch, chain 1, and skip the next stitch 9 times. So there's my chain 1. I will puff stitch right here. Chain 1, skip the next stitch and puff stitch again, and we'll repeat that across this side until we have 9 puff stitches. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 puff stitches. So I finished the repeat here in the parentheses. So I will make sure that you don't forget this chain 1 and skipping the next stitch, and then we'll puff stitch in the next one. So I've already done my chain 1. I will skip this stitch under my left thumb and place 1 more puff stitch here. And a chain 1, that's right here, and then we'll do the corner. So right in there, 2 double crochet stitches, chain 2, 2 more double crochet stitches, and we'll repeat that around and come back to the video at the end of this round. I'm at the end of round 9. I have finished this puff stitch and chain 1, so that brings me down to this double star. So 2 double crochets in the corner and then my join. So those double crochets will go here. And my join, and then I will be ready for round 10, which is the last round. This is another single crochet round, so we'll start with chain 1 and single crochet in the corner. And then single crochet in the next 2 stitches and in the next chain space. So we'll single here and here, and now in this chain space. We'll skip the next stitch and single crochet in the next chain space. So I won't put a stitch in this puff stitch, I'll go in between. And then I will single crochet in the next puff stitch and single crochet in the next chain space 8 times. So these 2 stitches times this 8 times, that's going to be 16 stitches. So I will single crochet in every stitch and chain space until I have 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, so that finishes this repeat. Now I'll skip the next puff stitch and single crochet in the next chain space and in the next 2 stitches. So nothing in this puff stitch, but in between here in this chain space, and then in these next 2 double crochet stitches. And then our corner will be single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. I will be repeating that around and then working the join as we have in all of these previous rounds. So I think that that gives you everything that you need in order to finish this square. I'm just reminding myself here. That gives you everything that you need to finish this square. If you are looking for the free written pattern or the details about the Fall Feels Crochet Along, you can click this information button up here, or the link in the description will give you that information. And I hope that you enjoy making this square and that you have a lovely day.